Hey guys, welcome back to another Eon topic. Today's topic, we talk about lack of motivation in millennials and how to find it. Today's show, we have a special guest, a good friend of mine.
Special.
His name is Grant. He's special.
Oh, so
Special friend. We've known each other since high school. He's been someone that I really truly looked up to growing up, and he's a really good friend of mine. One of the most insightful people that I know.
Thank you.
Say what's up, Grant.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Grant.
Okay, let's get right into it. So we're gonna kind of go over the problems with specifically speaking, motivation within millennials. I think motivation is bullshit in a sense because it's a behavior, and I just don't think it works. I think it works for a moment, but not specifically. I don't think you need it for like long periods of time.
So why do you think people look for it though?
Why people well because they want to get off their ass. I think that's it. Like when people are looking for motivation, they're looking for something because they're not necessarily doing the things that make them happy as people, or they're not using their time productively and effectively in a sense that they see, and they're looking at themselves and like, dude, why can't I get off my ass and do shit?
That's true. Yeah, I think people looking for motivation and looking for answers are two very different things. And I think people want to look for answers, but in reality, they're finding motivation, and they think the motivation will lead them to the answers.
Will be the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a big problem in that because it's like it's putting power in something that essentially is useless.
Yeah.
Kinda. Temporary.
It's
Yeah.
very temporary.
Because most people that use motivation aren't motivated.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for the motivation, kinda. It's like a deadly circle.
It's a behavior. It's an emotion, and I think it's very temporary. Like there's nothing like when you're seeing it, or when you have motivation, you always want to do something in that moment, but then you kind of have to like understand that you have to plan effectively if you're gonna start doing some shit with your life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's action that matters, not sitting down and watching a motivation Prince EA
motivational seminar.
Yeah.
Video. What would you tell someone who thinks they know what they want but can't go for it?
They probably don't know what they want. Because, well, like, the word can't is so arbitrary where it's like, I can't do this, but why can't you do that? Because I don't have enough time. When it's like, well, why don't you have enough time? It's like, there's a lot of hours in a week.
Yeah. Not
Not even like looking at it in a daily perspective, but in a week, you can get a lot done in a week if you plan it back to back.
I agree. Dude, if you literally split up your day into 2 hours at a time, really focusing on those 2 hours of what you're doing and like splitting it in an 18-hour period, there's a lot of shit that you can do.
Exactly.
And I think it's a matter of like planning ahead and figuring out what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Depending on what your goals are based upon.
And it's like, it's just like if you really want something, like thinking about passion, like I really want to do this. Like this is what I love to do. This is what I would die to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, how can you not find time for something that means so much to you? You know what I mean? It's like the concept of family. Like you spend time with your family. You could always find time for family.
What do you think it is though? What do you think is like something?
I think people like lie to themselves.
Well, I think because people rather be comfortable.
Yeah.
People rather be comfortable than chase their dreams.
Yeah.
And as bad as that sounds, that's just how.
No, that's how. I mean, even
that's how it is.
That's how it is. Even for me, like, it's the perspective that I have to work on. Like, do I really want? Like, sometimes I even think that it's because I don't see the result as much as I need to be. Like I think about the temporary discomfort, and sometimes that's enough for people not do shit at all. Like that's enough for them to be like, oh no, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like we'll just live with it.
Yeah. That's a big thing of being. You kind of had to move from comfort zone to actually do the things that you're supposed to be doing on a daily matter.
Yeah.
One thing that I heard, I don't know who I'm quoting here, but they say that if you sit on the bench for too long, you will get a splinter. And when I think about that, I think about people that are kind of like looking like all they're doing is watching. They're just watching you. They're just watching everything from a bystander point of view, and they're not executing on what they should be doing. Like I think that people need to start executing more. You're supposed to have repetitive amounts of reps to which lead to mistakes, and I think people need to start executing instead of like waiting for something to happen to them.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people are looking for luck. Like
yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna fill out the fucking lotto thing and hopefully I hit the jackpot. I think that's how people see that. They live in that paradigm of thinking. Like
yeah.
I'm trying to be lucky.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right. I think you got to plan. You have to create a system around how you want to execute and base your goals and whatever you're trying to achieve on a systematical process, which you can learn from effectively.
Yeah, I also think part of that's like people, and I'm guilty of this too. People really get trapped in like a bubble where it's like, I can't start this unless if I have A, B, and C.
Oh yeah.
And if A, B, and C aren't to a certain standard, I still can't do it. When in reality, it's like me when I started my first YouTube channel, it was like, wow, I don't have a camera, I don't got a microphone, I don't got a really good computer. How am I gonna like record this shit? Like stuff like that. When in reality, that stuff should be stuff we're facing in the middle of the process, and we shouldn't be thinking about that, because what good is having good video editing software if there's no video? What good is having a good microphone if there is no audio?
Yeah.
It's like a matter of taking that first step, and then everything else will kind of figure itself out.
Yeah.
I think that's such a weird thing people do though. Cause I do it sometimes too. Like, I can't like start anything until I have this one thing. This one thing that's gonna like. And then, so you have this idea that when you get it, like everything's gonna be everything's gonna be good. It's gonna start rolling. But then really like for example, when I buy this one thing, like the fuck, I just got like, okay, what now?
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot of real shit too that people like think about, that people have to deal with when it comes to like moving forward with their life. It's not just like they don't have a thing. It's just that they have a lot of things. They have a lot of shit, like a lot of baggage, and a lot of people that like carry this kind of stuff. Like they use it. I don't mean to like sound insensitive, because I mean I was like a little bit guilty of this, because I didn't want to do shit because I was blaming like how I was raised and how I was this and this and this and that.
Yeah.
And I think it's like super important to really look at that too, because it's a real thing that you have to deal with to get over something. Like for example, like how your parents raise you, or if it's just like a really like weird family dynamic, like that's some shit you have to get over too. So I mean, I think that just goes into a little more about like knowing yourself too.
Yeah, I think one thing. Yeah, I think you're right. One thing that plays a big factor when people are looking for motivation, right? People are trying to find motivation because of the fact they want to do something in their life. But I think creating an environment where you understand what you want to do, like that's one thing that people need to do, like figure out what do you want to do, like what is it that you want to do, create an environment around that, surround yourself with the people that like are in that frame of you trying to achieve your goals and dreams, that have the same mindset like you. And when you enter that environment and you figure out what you want and what you want to do, you start seeing things. Like for me, like I start seeing a bigger picture, and it's bigger than me. Like the problems around me are bigger than me. So that's what motivates me so much. Like I'm looking for something bigger than me instead of just like worrying about like, oh, how can I be motivated? Yeah. Like I have things I'm looking for. I have a family. I have the friends that are looking up to me. I have a team. I believe there's business. There's all these things that play in a factor. I think one thing that people need to understand is that it's not about you. You stop worrying about like, everyone has issues. Everyone has fucking problems, but no one gives a fuck. Like the market doesn't care. Yeah. Money doesn't care if you're fucking sad. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's just how it is. Yeah. And get out of that mindset of how like a victim mentality, so to say, of how like everything's happening to me. Why me? Why this? Why that? Like, yeah, I'm talking motivational right now, but this is real shit.
Yeah. It's constructive motivation. And I think elaborating more on what you said about like how you found motivation, like you found it. A lot of people find motivation in other people, and I think that's a really dangerous power, because you're giving power to something that's false hope. And because when you truly find motivation in something in yourself, when you truly care about something, you want to pursue it. You want to keep going. Versus if I watch a YouTube video or Facebook video and some guy telling me that I'm great and I'm like, I have so much more in me and there's so much potential and stuff. It's like, that's great, but it's
for the moment.
Yeah, it's great for the moment, but it's not really constructive. It didn't really tell me anything. All it told me was stuff that I want to hear. But in reality, I haven't done shit to deserve. You know what I mean? Like I haven't done shit. Yeah. But I'm being motivated. I'm feeling happy for really what reason?
It's literally just an emotion. Yeah. It's emotion. It's a fucking behavior. Like I don't think people should get the fucking wrong idea. Yeah. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the big problems too with looking for motivation. And you watch these videos, because I feel like how it should work is that you really have to know what you want to even try to have an attempt to go at it. But the thing is, when you're like listening to all these like people talk about what motivates them, like it's cool to kind of get some energy from that, but there's like a fine line that you cross, that you start living their dream. Like you do things because you think it sounds really like fucking great, like fantastic. Like, it sounds right. It's like what you want to hear, right? And so I think that becomes a problem, because at the end of the day, like there's no fulfillment in that. Yeah. There's like no fulfillment. Like you're so fucking like hype, like fucking pumped. Like this guy just said some shit and it resonated with you, and now you want to do shit. And then like, you start, and you kill it for maybe like a week. You start doing something, and then maybe like life gets in the way, something like fucking stops you on your track, and then all of a sudden you have no fucking perspective of what the fuck just happened. Yeah. So like that's like, I think that's the main problem when you get motivation from outside, like things outside, and then you kind of take it the wrong way. Like you become really
kind of like having a very clear perspective of what your why is, of why are you doing the things that you're doing. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that people can keep in mind is that, well, why are you doing the things that you're doing? For what? For what fucking reason? If it's to buy a fucking nice car and to do cool things, I swear to God, it's not gonna fucking work. you like, I want to go traveling all my life. Like, dude, it's not like I think that those type of things is not supposed to get you in life. You can chase those things, but I think it's not gonna take you that far. Exactly. You're just gonna get that, not the relationships, not the strong bonds that you create with people, not the emotional stability that you have with a best friend. Like you don't get those things out of like wanting materialistic things out of your life. And if you're motivated about materialistic things, then it's not gonna work. It's a really quick way to tell that like you're gonna fail. I promise.
And it's almost like new cars will come out. Seeking like materialistic objects is like setting goals as materialistic objects is, in the end of the day, is not worth your time, especially if you're seeking a long-term goal. Like if right now I'm like, when I grow up, I want a G-Wag. Yeah. Right? And I'm working towards this G-Wag, and then all of a sudden halfway through I'm like, well, maybe I don't want a G-Wag. And then at that point, what do? All this time I've been working towards this G-Wag. You know what I mean? It's like, and then all of a sudden I'm just supposed to like make a left turn and start working towards something else. It's like, that's not how it works. Or if I'm working towards it, I'm working towards it, and then it's like,
it stops.
I don't want to do this. Or it stops, or something gets in the way. And then it's like, well, I'm already 10 years into this. It's not like I can just quit and leave.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that you need to look at.
Yeah. At that point, that's when things really get fucking weird.
Yeah. Like you start wondering, what am I? Why?
Yeah, and it's super like, it sucks like to be in that space because like you think you're doing something and then all of a sudden like none of it means shit.
Like you hit that point of like success and it's like it means nothing.
A midlife crisis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is that what that literally is?
Partially. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more psychological aspect to it, but I'm sure if everyone was doing what they were happy with, it wouldn't exist because you'd be happy, you'd be content. But I don't know a lot about that, so I'm not going to speak on it on behalf of the people who are going through it.
It's kind of going back to what we were talking about before we started shooting. One thing that people have the wrong idea. It's like fucking. This is kind of like referring to like it's mental masturbation.
Yeah.
Like if you're staring at like say you're playing a sport and you're staring at the scoreboard the whole fucking time, nothing's gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen unless you plan how to get points. So when you start putting it at a bigger scale of life, and like you're like, well, I kind of want $1 million, and then you're fucking sitting in your room. And you're just thinking about it for the next 5 years. Like, you can't do that shit. Like, and you're like, well, maybe if I do, like, like you can't just like have a goal set and then do nothing about it. I think that's like mental masturbation. You start telling people your goals and dreams, right?
Yeah.
You start telling people what you're trying to achieve and like you're still doing, like, it's like, that's mental masturbation. You're just fucking getting yourself off about shit, making yourself feel better about like, oh, I'm motivated and I want to do cool shit. Like, you better get the fuck off your ass then, And I think when you realize that it's the small wins throughout your day, like planning out what you're going to do today, I think those 1% wins is what's going to get you to compound your success in 80 years.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially when as you accumulate these 1%, you don't want to throw it away.
Yeah,
because you get 1%, it accumulates to like 30% over your years. You look it back and you're like, wow, I got this far. I don't want to like. Why would I want to throw it away? So then you just keep pushing and then you keep pushing. And I think it's more applicable to like lifestyle choices you make, like waking up early, scheduling night before, stuff like that, all that kind of stuff. It's
working
like
out and stuff. Yeah.
You get to a point where it's like, is it really worth for me to break my good streak? Like the momentum I have going and I've built up over all this time, is it really worth for me to wake up later? Is it really worth for me to eat this pizza right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because I think as you kind of work towards these small wins and these little changes, it becomes like a standard.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, that's kind of like the mindset I try to go into when I try to work out. Like, like people that do work out, like they get really fucked up when they can't work out for a day. Like, oh man, like I'm gonna miss a day. Like this is fucking crazy. This sucks. Like, but those little like incremental wins when they become your life, when they become like a standard, like there's really no going back. Like when you're like at this, when you're at a really good point in your life because of things you built up towards that, not just like some magic potion that you fucking watched on a fucking video and then all of a sudden you're like a whole different person. It's those little things that you created, like layer. Like when you're at that point with so many layers, like you can't really go back to like how it was before. Like it's hard to, like this is your fucking life now.
Yeah, it's hard to.
And why, for being quite frankly honest, like why would you want to go back?
No.
Yeah. You don't want to.
I'm sure you'd be a lot happier developing better skills and stuff.
Yeah.
A good regimen.
Yeah. I think when you are, say like you are motivated, right?
Yeah.
I think when you're motivating that emotion, that behavior, one thing people don't get with that is it's only going to last you so long. Like, right? It's only going to last you a very short amount of time. But if you create habits that put you in a sense of like give you that effect of motivation or happiness or whatever you're looking for, a sense of productivity, like creating habits that, like what we were talking about, like those 1% things that every single day, they're just habits. They're fucking habits.
Yeah.
When you create habits that say make you motivated or make you do more, I think that's something that really counts as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, if you really want to like, if you really like motivation, I think that best kind of motivation is like accomplishing these little things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I fucking made my bed this morning.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I read this thing this morning. Like, I feel fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. You know.
Finding motivation in yourself.
Yeah, and that's the best kind because like that's authentic. Like, no, it's real.
Justified.
That's yours.
Yeah.
And it's not you're not living someone's dream fucking fantasy life. And I think that's like the big problem. There's a really really big difference between like the encouragement you get from yourself and like from outside sources, which can also be good, but you know.
Yeah.
Like when it's true to yourself and it's like fucking, it's like your home to be like motivated like that, then I mean I think that's like real motivation if you really want to be like fucking all about that shit, you know.
Yeah. What do you guys think about how people that like say you're trying to motivate someone, right? You're trying to motivate people, but then they're not getting it. When I think about this, in a sense, it's like, why am I trying to motivate people that don't even want to do shit?
Yeah.
You know? I think that's a big, like you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Like, people are not going to change unless they want to change.
Yeah.
So I think you got to understand who you're talking motivation to.
Yeah, I think that's not even your job in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's someone you love, then you don't need to motivate them. You just need to fucking talk to them. Like, hey, dude, what the hell's going on? Like, what's your problem?
Doing? Yeah.
Like, what's your problem? Like, you know, it's like...
Yeah.
I don't think it's your job to motivate anybody unless that's like... unless they're actually looking for that. I mean, look, we're already fucking talking about how motivation is bullshit.
Yeah.
So why would you actually go, like, trying to spread a message of motivation when it's already like not really the best thing to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that people should do as well is kind of look at themselves from a third person point of view and see where they are, and this kind of goes into planning as well. Like, see where you are in reality. Like, it doesn't matter. Like reality is not bad or good. It's just how it is. This is just real. This is the real thing behind, you know, what we're talking about. And I think people need to like figure out where you are first before you can start planning. Like your success or goals. Because I think when people ask us about like, oh, how do you stay motivated type thing, I think because people are like, you know, looking to do something with their life. You know.
That's kind of like one analogy I made. I didn't make it, but like, I just thought of it when I was thinking about creating better habits for myself. Or it's kind of like the same as like trying to be motivated, because when you want to be motivated, you want to do something that like you don't regularly already do. So I thought about it like, you know, you have to know yourself and you have to work around like what already exists in your world. It's like I tell myself like, okay, if you just started a fucking game, you wouldn't go into an area that's for like level like way like 1,000, and then all of a sudden you think you're gonna beat the fucking boss, even like the little minions there. You know what I mean? Like you gotta start with level 1 habits and level 1 shit. You know, like you can't just like try to jump just because it sounds like the right thing to do. You can't just jump into like like fucking going to the gym one day, like one time, like every day, like one time every day. You have to like maybe start with like just a day.
That makes a lot of sense. That
makes
makes a lot of sense.
You gotta plan like. The way I saw it, the way I kind of tried to do it when I kind of hit my little wall from being so fucking motivated, I was like, fuck, like where am I really at this moment? Like what do I need to work on like right now? Like from where I like
what's the first
like
step?
what am I so shitty in? Like you know, what's the first step?
Yeah, how do I plan that first step?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Because everything, it's almost like sometimes it's overwhelming, like, well, I can start from here, I can start from here, I can start from here, but it's like, just choose one.
Because people are looking at the summit.
It's all going to get done eventually.
Exactly, yeah.
Just choose one.
That's why it's so important to really know, though, like, okay, so you have this goal, and this is where you are right now. Like, what do you need to do at this point of this journey to even move like an inch forward, and an inch more and an inch more? Because like, when you try to hop on big tasks that you had no previous experience in doing, you're gonna it's gonna be really discouraging because you're not gonna. Nothing's gonna happen.
If you're not mentally tough.
Yeah.
Like if you're not mentally tough and you don't have like the like structure behind why you're doing things, like that just kind of goes with that thing. Everything's a system. Like if you don't have an effective system, nothing's gonna work out for you.
Yeah, and like when you look at those people at the top, and you're like, wow, like I want to start there. I might as well start there. It's like they may have been doing it for so long, and they have a different eye in that kind of subject. What you necessarily see them doing, and that's what you want to do. You might see it completely different in the standpoint they see it because they've been in the business for so long.
Yeah.
Like you look at a video and it's like, wow, that's a cool video. It's like, looks really good. But in the eye of you, you're like, yeah, I want to make that. Yeah. Let's figure out how to make that. But in the eye of somebody that's been doing it for so long, it's like you're shit. They're looking at it like, what the? They're like, what is like? Yeah. Like, first of all, what the hell is that? Like, second of all, what the hell is that? But it's like you might be working towards something that may not even necessarily be good. Yeah. Like, you got to build up that core foundation.
Yeah, I get it. It's you gotta. I think people need to understand. Like, people need to understand as well. Like, as like when I think about us, right? Us, like me, you, and Jeremy, Grant, Jeremy, and EJ. We're playing long term.
Wait, I thought I was EJ.
Wait, I thought I was.
Wait, hold on.
I thought. I thought I was Alvin.
Why?
Casey?
Why? Why are we here? But no, like I think when we think about us, like in general, and I think people need to start thinking like this. People need to start thinking long term benefit instead of the short term thing. Like this kind of goes back to me talking about short term gains. Like play long term, and then that means planning effectively on how you want to achieve goals.
And that shouldn't be seen as a bad thing. Yeah. It shouldn't be like, fuck, I got a plan. Like, it shouldn't be like that.
It's reality.
Because if it's like, oh my God, I don't want to plan for next. It's not gonna work when you try to build that habit. Being in that mental state of like, I don't want to do this. You're not gonna do it because you don't want it. Why would you do something you don't want to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's up to you to rewire your brain. It's up to you to be like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. Even though I may not like this, I gotta open my mind to accepting that I might like this, even though right now I may not like it. And just putting yourself in a box where it's like, okay, maybe if I just do this long enough, it'll become a habit.
Yeah.
It's not that simple.
Yeah, no.
You can't just do something for so long and then it just starts working.
Yeah, that 21-day thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you gotta put the effort in.
You gotta think about it. You gotta make the decision.
Like everything that you do. I feel like one thing that really hold people back from even starting a goal is like there's gonna be a lot of work that goes into it. But any kind of thing you do, any field, even just going to school, like, oh shit, I gotta take these like advanced fucking classes later on. Yeah. And like that's enough for people to just not even try.
Yeah.
And like just like little, like for example, like if you want to do photography and you start looking at all these fucking settings that you can change, I'm like, oh fuck this.
Yeah.
And then like at the end of the day, like nothing gets done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that school thing, it's like I was thinking about like when you walk into a classroom, a college classroom, and you can divide the classroom into two people.
Two kinds of people.
There's the people that when class get canceled, they're like, fucking, I don't have to fucking go to class today. Like, fuck, I can go do whatever the hell I want today. And then there's the people where class gets canceled, and you're like, well, I paid fucking $1,400 for this shit. I'm getting ripped off. That's like somebody like you rent a car. And then you wake up one morning, and then they're like, sorry, you can't use your car today. We'll be back next time. And it's like, what do you mean? I paid for that car. You're not going to take the car away from me. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay. We'll double the amount of we'll add an extra day onto your car. It's like,
no, fuck you. Like,
I want my fucking car. I paid for the car. Give me the car. I paid for it for a reason. You know what I mean? And that you can split a classroom into those two things, but that translates into so many things. There's people that are going to work because they need to go to work. And there's people that are going to work because they want to go to work and they want to better their lives. They're working towards a goal. And that's really eye-opening because it shows a lot.
Yeah.
It shows how motivated you are. Mm-hmm. It shows that you are willing to put in the work into something that you may not necessarily do because you see the longer, the future goal.
Yeah. I wish there was a fucking, like, I wish I could tell you guys that there's a fucking
key.
I wish I could give you a fucking key and pull out my ass and be like, here's a key to success and everything you want in life. No. It's fucking systems, it's work, and it's hustle.
Like, and it's in yourself.
And it's long-term shit.
Exactly.
It's not like, oh my god, we're going to be millionaires like fucking like, in 2 years. No, it's bullshit. It's like, I wish there was a fucking key and there was an answer, but I'm sorry. But
and no one's going to walk up to you, and no one's going to be like, you like school. Oh, I like school. It makes so much more sense now. I gotta go to class. Oh my god, you know what I mean? It's not realistic. When someone, if I hate school, if I don't enjoy going to school, and somebody comes up to me and he's like, "Look, you gotta like school, cause that's the only way you're gonna get through this shit." I'm gonna be like, "Fuck you! I don't like school, bitch. Get out of my face."
It's like, okay, when you go to like these motivational seminars, right?
Yeah.
You know, like why are you there?
It's like,
why are you there?
I want to feel good about myself.
Well, okay, why? What's the reason behind motivational seminars, though?
It's like, I'm lost.
To get motivated. You know? And, like, that only happens every, like, so often.
Yeah.
And you're paying, like, just a shitload of money. Like 80, like, the one that we're going to go to is, like, $85 fucking dollars.
How many people do you think watch those Facebook and YouTube videos that are like, you have power. Just unlock the secret. Open your heart. How many people do you think come out of that? Like,
fucking changed.
I gotta fucking get my life, my shit together. I gotta open my fucking heart.
They just metamorphosize.
But then you think about that, and then you think about how many people actually do you think benefit from those videos? Like, how many people do you think that actually really sparked? Ignited their passion.
Like you have to be already on something.
I'm sure I get the retainment rate to people that feel good about themselves when they watch it, which I'm sure is I guess there's a lot of people that feel good about it.
I get it.
And then the people that actually it actually works. And they actually get off their ass and they do something. It's
like 0.2%.
Yeah, the retainment rate is probably really, really, really low. That should be something like concerning.
I think if I could give someone like something to take home, it would probably be like, so get to work and then find, we've had this conversation before, get to work and then you'll discover yourself and what you do and what you're good at through the work that you do. So the only answer is get to work.
Yeah.
Like, stop looking for the motivational shit. Like, start planning. Like, I can't. I've been saying this like it's the 18th time I said this. Start planning your shit.
Yeah.
Write down whatever the fuck you need to do and plan 80 years from now.
And do it. And just do it.
And just go.
Don't think about not liking it. Don't think about not wanting to do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, it may be uncomfortable and maybe this and maybe that. It may suck and may be hard, but go.
And somewhere along the lines, if 3-4 months in it, you're like, man, this sucks. I really don't want to do this. Then that's okay.
Switch up. That's great.
Do something else. But when you get to that point, you're not going to feel bad about yourself because you put in the effort.
Yeah, but but make sure, like, if you're starting to become unhappy and you start feeling bad for yourself because you're working towards something that doesn't matter to you, then that's where you change it.
And genuinely want to, don't be like, man, this sucks. One day, all in this span of like one day, you're like, this sucks. You file bankruptcy on your business. You leave all in one day.
You sue the company.
It's like,
you call Sally, like, hey, Sally, you should work for me.
It's like, okay, maybe you're being a little rat. Maybe you had a bad day. Maybe it's not actually the company that's pissing you off, but it's someone in your ear that's pissing you off.
But no, that's the thing. That's why he said when you get to work, you find out like what you're really up to.
Yeah.
Like all the failed like attempts you did for business or for this job, like the more, I mean, maybe you should be a little less like stupid about it and not quit on the first day. But you know, in your time that you spend working on something that you thought you might like, you're gonna learn a shit ton of things about yourself, about like what you're really doing this for, like you said, and from there you can really find out.
Yeah, because your work is a direct product of who you are. when people see the work that you're doing, it literally gives off. Yeah. And if you haven't done shit, and there's your work. That's your work.
Your
like
shit.
Like it's nothing. Nothing happened. Yeah. Nothing happened. When you start working, that's literally just a direct indication of what you created.
And it's super practical. Like it's super, like you find super practical things about yourself on the way. Like, for example, you find out how your patience is, or you find out like your taste in this one thing, and like, you know, layer all those like things you find out, together, and then like all of a sudden you're gonna have a better idea of like what you want to do.
I like this instead of that.
And then you can talk shit about motivation because it's actually like real.
Now you're motivated.
Now
you start understanding yourself, and you're like, oh shit, I fucking know myself, so now I can start sharing with people.
Sharing with people, or like, you know,
your content, your product, your whatever you're creating, you're cultivating, whatever you're cultivating in physical reality, that's literally finding yourself through work.
Yeah.
People need to find themselves through work.
I think that's just one way that I super agree with, because that's what's been working for me ever since I tried to like reevaluate things after being in this motivational phase. It's fucking weird, like hustle, bro. Like I was a super like fucking work guy, like fucking hustle everyday shit. But you know, like when I found out that none of that shit was real, it was really like detrimental. Like I was like, fuck. Yeah. I was having like an existential crisis. I was like, fuck, what am I doing this for? Yeah. And so it wasn't until I started actually developing skills and learning things that I actually started seeing like, oh, okay, like this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm doing it for, and this is how I like this, and this is how I like that, and this is what I should do with this. You know, like a lot of, you're gonna learn a lot of things that's gonna make such a big difference to your life just because you're doing something. You're doing something. You're not sitting on your ass learning. You know, you're doing something. You're putting your knowledge into action, and you're finding out through mistakes and trial and error that like, oh, there's things that I can improve on, or the things that I'm really good at. And then, you know, it's those practical things that you piece together that you see like the bigger picture with. Like, for example, like you want to make money because, you know, you want to support your family and blah 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 blah, all the summit stuff. Like you really find the real meaning of that when you've actually like fucking dove into trying to work for it. Like it's such a big shift in perspective when all you're thinking about is just like the cool shit that could happen if I made money. Like you start thinking about like the deeper meaning into like why you're even working, like why you're even worried about getting motivated. You know, like why you're even like scared that you're not doing something. Like you really find that out, and holy shit, it's like
people need to not confuse failure with like quitting, like with like this is it for me, like, oh, I failed, now I'm gonna quit. You know?
Of course, when you do have that emotion, that's real, that's there, that's what kind of is gonna help you remember more. But when you do fail, that's like such a good opportunity to like take fucking notes, like holy shit, what didn't work, like what can I do better?
Information that you need to
fucking data.
It's data that you can take. Well, okay, how did I fail? What did I do about? How can I be better in this part? So what happened there that didn't work out? So these videos that we create, like me and you were constantly like, okay, this video didn't get that many views. This video didn't come out how we wanted. We're always constantly trying to figure out
all the fucking technicalities.
all the technicalities, all these fucking cameras. Like through trial and error, we're fucking literally seeing the failures as information and data and how to get better.
And I feel like that reciprocates with the audience.
Oh, yeah.
The audience sees you growing as a community, as a channel, as creators.
Yeah.
And then you grow this special bond with that small community that you originally had with.
Yeah.
And because they've seen the struggles you've gone through.
Yeah.
They've seen the progress. They see like the quality changing as it grows and as your community grows. And I think that's special. There's something special about that.
It is. It's so real, you know.
Yeah, and it's you, and then you yourself see all the progress. And then you yourself see your improvement.
It feels good.
And then
dude.
that's real motivation.
Yeah.
And like back to what you said, I was listening to you, and I think a really big thing that you said was about people finding motivation. Motivation shouldn't be something that you're seeking. Motivation should be essentially like a bonus. You should be working towards what you're getting, what your goal is, and then as a little push on the way, you gain motivation. That's something to push you through. That's not something to be looking and seeking for, like you said. It's not.
Yeah, it shouldn't be your North
Like
Star type thing.
Yeah, but in reality, you can't look for motivation. I mean, you could look for motivation, but you're not going to get what you're looking for because it innately comes out.
Yeah,
like me being passionate about something, like being passionate about a podcast. Motivation will come to you. You're not going to go to the motivation.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
you know, like kind of having this conversation with you guys is really, and people seeing this as well. I think people really will see that motivation is kind of bullshit. Like. Listening to the conversation and seeing it, I think when people actually put it into reality, like this is just the reality of it. And yeah, it's all good to be like, you know, rah and fluff and, you know, all that shit, you know, but one thing that we kind of try to drive and, you know, creating these videos, because you guys need to start creating systems that effectively work for you and finding yourself through your work. And we wish we could tell you there's a key, but there isn't. It's literally finding yourself through work, and then you will find the motivation through your work.